Northmen Replay with Coach Pat Rietma. I'm Jason Bolges, and I'll be your host for the next season of Northwood University Highlights. Be sure to tune in every week for Northwood University interviews, highlights, and previews of upcoming games. Now, first of all, we need to introduce you to our new head football coach at Northwood University, Mr. Pat Rietma. Pat, it's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And we'd like to hear a little bit about yourself. Tell us about where you're from and what your background is in football.
I came to Northwood University. I took the job as a head football coach in January, right at the first of the year. In my previous 8 years, I was assistant coach at Hillsdale College. Before that, I served as a grad assistant at Central Michigan. And those two experiences, I believe, gave me a solid foundation to be a head coach, and the opportunity came to come here to Northwood and to try and help turn this program around. And it is a dream job for me to be able to have this position, and we're really excited about the upcoming season.
Great. And I see you brought one of your assistant coaches with you, Mr. Brett Heibel. Tell us about Mr. Heibel and the rest of your staff.
Okay, Coach Heibel is our defensive coordinator. He is the one coach who was on the staff last year who returns in a full-time capacity. And he will be in control of our defense. He will be the coordinator and serve as a man responsible for our entire defensive scheme. Along working with him on the defensive side of the ball will be George Richtenstrick, who comes to Northwood from Central Michigan University. He was a grad assistant last year and will coach our secondary. The other fourth full-time position that we have working on the offense side of the ball will be Shannon Griffiths. Shannon comes to us from Ball State University and will work with our offensive line, and the four of us will be full-time in there around the clock trying to improve the Northwood football program. We also have three part-time coaches, part-time and only that they come in after their jobs during the day, but they're with us there most of the time and give us a tremendous help with what we're doing. On the offense side of the ball is Mike Gakin, who is a teacher at Pinconning High School, and Mike has worked with Northwood football off and on for the last dozen years or so. He's really been involved with Northwood and knows a lot about what we're doing and will give us great experience. Also, along the same line is Billy Johnson, who teaches at Bay City Western High School, and he's worked off and on for Northwood University football for the past 16, 17 years. And so those two guys add a tremendous amount of experience to what we're trying to do. And they give us the flavor of having a couple of gentlemen who have been around the game a long time and give us needed experience. Many times that I'll call upon those two guys to tell me what they've seen in the past, and we'll kind of use that as a starting point, because there will be some new situations that for me as a head coach, being my first year, that I'm not totally familiar with. So I will draw upon my assistants. The last assistant that we just hired that worked out really well for us is a young man named Todd Lusak, who played at Grand Valley State University, was a tremendous football player in this league, and started 30-some games as an offensive lineman for a very fine football program at Grand Valley. And so Todd comes, will help our offensive line, will work alongside Shannon, and the seven of us will be the staff, and I'm very excited about what we're doing. I have great respect for all of us that are involved in the program, and I feel real good that we have the right people in place to make our football program better.
Great. Sounds like you got a really great staff coming back, and you know, they always say you don't win football games, the staff doesn't win it, it's the players that win it. So who do you have coming back that you think is really going to help you this year?
Okay, our key players that I'll talk about offensively, and then Coach Heibel will talk about our defense. As I view our offense, we're a little bit inexperienced, but we have some key players that need to have big years for us. First off, I'd start with Tony DeShazer, who is a wide receiver who sat out last year. He is back this year. He is a tremendously skilled person who we need to get the football to 10, 12 times a game if we can. We're going to use him as a kickoff returner, a punt returner. We're going to try and get him the ball as a wide receiver as much as we can. He's a very exciting player to watch, and would be a person that if you came to a ball game, when he gets the ball, he has the ability to get you to stand on your feet. He's that exciting. He's not very big. He's only about 5'6", 100. Well, I think we list him at 150 pounds, but he's not quite that. So he's a tremendously exciting player. In our backfield, we have two skilled players who need to come up with big senior years, and that's what I expect out of them. James Causey, a fullback, and Henry Russell, a tailback, both have had limited success in football, and for us to get better as a team, we need those two young men to have great senior years, and that can happen where a senior realizes that this is his last chance to play, and it's very, very important to him to go out with a strong season, and that's what I expect from Henry and James in the backfield. Henry is an academic or an athletic All-American in track as a long jumper. He long jumps 24 feet, and so he's a tremendous athlete. Now we need to get him some success on the football field like he's had on the track. We need to get him where he gets excited and takes it up in there and has some success. Our quarterback position is an unknown commodity right now. We have two young men, both will be seniors, that have played the last 3 years. They've both played since their freshman year. They've alternated, and those two are Robert Jamerson and Jim Kurlinski. And we hope one of those two can come in and give us some consistency at that quarterback spot. And I hope that we don't alternate quarterbacks. I really hope that one of them can come in and take charge, be the leader that we're looking for, provide consistent performances, and I am against alternating quarterbacks, and I hope we don't have to do that. Up front, offensive line is our biggest area of improvement that we need to have. We need to get our players more experience up there. We need to get them a little more aggressive. We need to get them, along with our whole team, to experience some success, and that would help our offensive line. But that is a major, major area right now where we need to see improvement if we're going to compete in this new league. Coming into the MIFC, it's a tough league, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we need to get our people to realize how hard it is to play in this new league, and it starts in the trenches. You know, you can have great skilled players, but if you don't have the people up front that can knock some people off the line of scrimmage, then it doesn't matter who you have in the backfield. We need to get those people up front coming off the football and knocking them over and giving us some time to throw the ball and some running lanes for Henry and James. So the potential is there. As I look at our offensive unit, the potential is there. What we need is to have some seniors step forward to play like they've never played before. And when that happens, you generate some excitement. You don't need to put limits or clamps on how much success you can have, and that's what we're trying to get across to these guys.
Great. And how about the defense, Coach Heibel? What do we look for there?
Well, in anticipation of the season, looking forward to it, we've got some experience. We'd like to think we have some experience. Returning this year are 14 people that have had game day experience, been out there on the field and really understand what's going on a Saturday when you get out there and play football. Of that 14, 8 are going to be seniors, 5 are going to be juniors, and 1 sophomore. So we've got some experience. I think we need to raise the level of intensity and continue to play good football. But we've got some people that have had some experience there. Of those seniors, David Sanders, one of our linebackers, he's returning. Leonard Haynes plays our defensive line, and he's an exciting player to watch, and he plays aggressively, and he'll be returning. Kerry Fagan is a local player that comes from Pinconning, and he's going to be returning as a senior, and we're looking for exciting things from him. In the secondary, Jason Benden, also from Midland High, from local area, Midland High, will be returning. He's a senior. And so we look forward to playing with some experience, playing with some excitement, and looking forward to the seniors providing leadership.
Now, I know they have some preseason All-Americans on your team. I know Leonard Haynes was one of them. Also, John L. Davis, your middle linebacker. What do you expect out of him this year?
John L. Davis is a junior for us. He's played 2 years in a starting role, and we're really looking for exciting things from him also. Last spring, he didn't really have a chance to show Coach Rietma what he can do. He sat out with a hamstring pull, and we're hoping that that's all healed up, and he's really been working hard over the summer and will continue to play aggressive football for us at linebacker.
Okay, great. Now, you had 3 kickers that graduated last year. How's the special teams going to look this year?
Our kicking game is a real area that we do not know who's going to be our kicker. And It may be you, Jason. I don't know who our kicker is right now. I don't know who our punter is. We have some freshmen coming in who are going to compete for the job. We have a junior college transfer coming in. So we have some bodies coming in. But for me to honestly say who it's going to be, I don't know. And so we're a little nervous in that respect, not knowing who our punter is going to be, not knowing who our kicker is going to be. Hopefully the freshmen that we have recruited, that there is going to be competition there. There's 2 or 3 lined up at each spot. And hopefully one of them will rise to the occasion and be able to step in and kick as a freshman.
Okay. Now, we talked about the new coaching staff, but probably one of the biggest changes for Northwood is getting in the MIFC, the Midwest Intercollegiate Football Conference. What do you see for Northwood as far as getting in that conference?
That was a tremendous move for our school to get into the MIFC. It's a tremendous league. We have a built-in 11-game league schedule now. We're playing for a championship. Our kids get an opportunity to compete for postseason honors, so it's a real plus move for us to be involved in this league. Travel, it cuts down our travel. In previous years, Northwood had to scramble to get games. They were going out to Pennsylvania. They were playing 8 games some years, 9 games some years. We have an 11-game schedule this upcoming season, and so being a part of this league is just a real super situation for us. Now, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. As you look at last year's record, Northwood did not win a football game, and we don't refer to the past in any of our meetings or any of our coaching meetings or players' meetings. We do not refer to what happened last year. As a point of reference, we did not win a football game at Northwood last year. Now we're going to play a harder schedule. So it's a big challenge. It's a big challenge, but it's where we belong, and it's going to be a great situation. And I think the town of Midland can relate to us being in a league and with playing the same people week in after week out and year after year and getting to build some rivalries, and that's what we want to do.
Okay, I know the MIFC had a media day this past Tuesday in Grand Rapids. I know you were there. What went on there? Where's Northwood picked?
Okay, at the MIFC Media Day, 11 teams are in the league, and Northwood was picked dead last, and that's fine with us. That's a great place for us to be. We have no place to go but up, and the team that was picked to win it was Grand Valley, and Ashland University out of Ashland, Ohio was second. Hillsdale College was third. Saginaw Valley was fourth. Fair State was fifth. And so the unique thing, though, was out of 11 possible first-team votes, 4 different schools got a first-team vote. So that shows you right there that there is great balance in this league, and there's not a clear-cut favorite. Grand Valley, yes, they are picked to win it, but it may be somebody else that last day. And we're not concerned at all where we're picked. You know, that's fine that we were picked last. We'll use that as a motivational tool, and really we're not concerned with what other people think about our program right now. We have so much in-house work to do. We have so many things that we want to accomplish that if we do our part, the other things will take care of itself, and that's what we're stressing to our players. Media Day is an opportunity for some so-called experts to pick where we're going to be. Does it relate? Is it a reflection of our program? No, because I guarantee you that we will get better and better and better. I don't know how many wins that translates into, but we are going to improve as a football team. We are going to learn to become accountable for what we do. We are going to learn to lay a foundation and learn to do things right and do our part. And when you do that part, you generate a little excitement, then a lot of things can happen.
We talked about Northwood's players, some of the preseason All-Americans. I know Kerry Fagan also is academic preseason All-American. What about the other top players in the league?
This league has some tremendous players. I think of Hillsdale has, without a doubt, the best back in the conference. His name is Scott Schulte. He'll be a senior. He's already the career rushing leader at Hillsdale, and so he's a tremendous player. There's some very, very good defensive linemen in our league. Bill Royce down at Ashland University was a preseason All-American. A couple defensive linemen over at Fair State, Jim Lentz and Ed Fillion, are all-conference returning players. And so there are some great players in our league. I think if people came to our games each week, they would see some high-quality players from these other Division II schools. And we feel we have some players that can compete in the upper echelon of the players in this league. We feel that Leonard Haynes has the opportunity to be one of the premier players in this league. With some breaks, we think Tony DeShazer can be one of the premier receivers in this league. So we feel we have some players to compete too. What we need to get are a few more at Northwood.
Yep. Well, we'll be back after this message.
Placing you under arrest. I could use a break. Taking you downtown for further processing. We'll take your car down to the station. Watch your head.
We think it's only fair to remind you that almost 1,000 new laws have been passed to guarantee if you don't appoint a designated driver, one will be appointed for you.
Man, you guys just drive me home?
Hello and welcome back to Northmen Replay with Coach Pat Rietma. Let's take a look at this upcoming MIFC games on September 4th. Well, obviously, Pat, the most important game coming up is the big September 4th game, Northwood and Northern Michigan. Of course, we got the new 12 o'clock kickoffs, so everybody should make sure when they come out, get there an hour early.
Right. I hope people will come out and take a look at us and give us an opportunity to show what we can do.
Next one, Wayne State and University of Indianapolis.
Two teams that were picked in about the middle of the pack.
And St. Joe at Grand Valley. Grand Valley number 10 in the nation.
Right. Grand Valley comes in, picked to win the league. Tough opener for St. Joe.
The Ferris State at Edinburgh, the replay of last year's
playoff game. Right. Opening playoff game last year will be a tough road game for Ferris State.
Saginaw Valley at Hillsdale.
Probably the best matchup in the league. Saginaw was picked 4th, Hillsdale picked 3rd.
And St. Francis at Ashland.
Tough game for St. Francis going all the way over to Ashland, who was picked 2nd in the league.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Northern Michigan and Northwood matchup. First, what do you see with Northern Michigan's defense?
Well, this first game is going to be very, very tough for us to prepare for, but it will also be tough for Northern Michigan to prepare for Northwood. We don't know a whole lot about them. They've had a couple assistant coaching changes also, so they may change what they're doing also. I feel that for us, looking at their defense, we think that they're going to play a 50-type defense, but they may make some changes in that. They went out and recruited a couple of junior college transfers to try and give them some immediate help, and they did that to bring them some credibility on their defensive line. They felt that was a weakness for them last year. Northern did. So they went out and brought in a couple of junior college kids to help immediately. They have a couple linebackers that are returning with experience, and they are upperclassmen, and so they feel that's a veteran group. Their secondary is a group of players who have had some experience based on what they've done last year, but they also need to replace 2 players back there. And so we feel that going into the game, hopefully we'll be able to have enough of our offense prepared. And so if we feel there's an area that we can attack, we'll go to that area. And I say that with a preface that we need to get in as much offense as we can in these next 3 weeks. And so since we are facing a team we're not totally sure what they're going to play, we need to have as much of our offense as we can ready to go. And depending on what they give us, we'll attack and hopefully put us in the best situations possible where we can taste some success. I know that most importantly, we'll need to come out of our first game with a positive feeling that irregardless if we win or lose, that we have some positive experiences, some success, some movement. We need to gain some yardage. We've set it as an offensive goal to try and gain 300 yards of offense a game. And so we need our offensive linemen to get used to being out there and staying on the field. As I look at our films from last year, as we evaluated what Northwood did last season, not only did the offense not score enough points, but they weren't on the field long enough. And that's something, time of possession, that the normal fan may not take a look at or take into account, but it's a very, very big factor. We had a good defense at Northwood last year, but they gave up too many points, and part of that was because they're on the field too long. And so even if we don't put the ball in the end zone, and hopefully that's the ultimate goal, but we need to stay on the field. And so we feel with the opportunity in the next 3 weeks to get a game plan, our game plan will be pretty broad, though. It won't be as specific as later in the season when we have films and we have an opportunity to evaluate the opposing team. So we're going to try and prepare as much as we can, but still it'll be a little bit of uncertainty as exactly what we're going to do when we tee it up at 12 noon.
Okay. Now, if you're going to keep your offense on the field the whole time, Brett, what are you going to do with the defense?
Well, if he's on the field the whole time, we'll be sitting on the sidelines watching him score touchdowns, hopefully. But in anticipation for that first game, Northern historically plays very aggressive, tough-nosed football. They're not going to get too fancy. They've got some wrinkles in their offense, but they're going to come right at you. So we've got to rise to that occasion, play tough football, get after it just as much as they're going to get after it. And one thing I can guarantee you, they will not throw the ball if they're running it. So we've got to stop that run. I know that's been said a lot by a lot of coaches in many situations, but they're going to come right at us with the run. We've got to stop that and then take care of the pass when they decide that it's time for them to throw the ball.
Well, Coach, I'd like to thank you both for being here today.
Our pleasure.
Coach Heibel. And I'd like to invite everybody to come out on the 4th of September to Juilliard Field on the campus of Northwood University. See Northwood University play the Northern Michigan University Wildcats, 12 o'clock. And make sure you're back here every week for Northmen Replay with Coach Pat Rietma.